This is the Ring of Honor, a.k.a. Shane T, boy, the baddest champion you ever seen, boy.
This is Mr. Anderson.
This is good old JR Jim Ross, and you are listening.
You're listening to Knockouts and 3 Counts.
Cover! We got a new world champion!
That might be one of the craziest knockouts I've ever seen in my life.
Knockouts and 3 Counts is the podcast, baby! They're the real deal, baby!
Knockouts and 3 Counts starts now.
Ooh, what up, though? It is a Tuesday. This is Knockouts 3 Counts, and as every other Tuesday, I'm glad that I'm not at work no more. How you guys doing on a Tuesday?
What up, what up?
I know that feeling very well, my friend. Glad to have gotten a little bit of motorcycle riding in this afternoon while we still got the season going. And other than that, man, honestly, I'm still a little shook from this weekend's pay-per-view. It's been on my mind all day. I always catch up with the MMA Hour, the Ariel Helwani show, the day after they do it. Don't ask me why. I just don't usually turn into shows while they're live. I always catch the replays.
But you should definitely tune in while we're live on Knockouts and 3 Counts, because if you do so coming up, if you paid attention to last week's show with Mike from Circle 6, you know that coming up, we've got some big guests coming your way and some free tickets. So if you're in the Detroit area, hey, yo, Cody, that means you too. Hot damn it. We are giving away free tickets. You need to be in the building. Y'all need to be in the building at the Jam Handy September 9th for Circle 6 Catalyst. Go ahead.
As I was saying before, Circle 6 stepped in as they are stepping their way into the wrestling world. I had watched the Ariel Helwani show. I don't know if you guys were able to catch it or not this week, but they had Leon Edwards has been pretty much a focal point on the show for the last couple of years. That's where he's been. He's made more appearances there than he has in the Octagon, put it that way. And he finally made his appearance, on the Monday show and stuff. It was just emotional freaking roller coaster on his little segment he just had. I was listening to that while out on the bike, and yeah, man, that's some inspirational stuff. Right? So anybody who hasn't been able to listen to his story and why it meant so much to him and stuff like that, I definitely advise going back and listening to the segment on the Helwani show.
Well, J-Bone, I know you weren't watching with me and Corey, but what'd you guys think of UFC 278? If you guys are watching and you watched UFC 278, let us know what you thought in the comments. Is this the biggest knockout in UFC history? And again, if you haven't already done so, if you're watching on YouTube, make sure you hit subscribe so you're in the running for those tickets.
Hey, man, what a card, though, right? What a fight. What a main event. Dude, if that is not the perfect example of never give up in a fight,
right?
I don't know what is, because Usman had that one in the bag, dude, and out of nowhere, just like that, new champ, dude. What a finish. What a finish. What a story, like you said, though. What a story, man.
I've been a fan of sports my whole life. I've watched pretty much everything growing up here in Detroit and been a fan of every team throughout the whole the grow-ups, season. And that being said, man, there's nothing like MMA for that reason alone. The fact that you can literally just be it. If it was a football game, the Lions were down 21 with 2 minutes left in the fourth. Like there was nothing left to do. The game was pretty much over. If it was the Pistons, the Warriors were beating them by 20 with 2 minutes in the fourth. The game was over. But in MMA, the game's never over until it's actually the bell has rung, and that was such a clear example of it Saturday. Because, Leon looked defeated between rounds, man. He really did. And he had even talked about that yet again on his Ariel Helwani segment. But he had noted that, man, he had felt a little bit defeated. He felt like his body was letting him down. He wasn't able to do what he wanted to do up at the elevation and stuff. He felt like he was just he felt flat, was his words. He felt like he was just unable to his mind would tell him to do one thing and his body would just respond when it felt like. And to still be able to muster up the finish that he was able to, and to set it up the way he did. You know, Kyle, me and you have had many conversations about it to this point, but that wasn't a lucky shot. You know, he
Dude, he
definitely set it up.
That was so set up. And if you watch, you know, if any of you guys want to go back and watch another fight to see it, if you watch the fight against Bilal Muhammad, he hit that same kick against Bilal. Now, Bilal didn't get dropped, but he literally set it up the same way. If you watch it in slow motion, you can see that that he threw the same kick, same setup. I mean, he threw a feint and did what you would want. He got Kumaru to try to duck off the center line, and he ducked right. He led him right into the kick that he threw. What up, though, everybody that's joining the stream? If you guys are new here, make sure you hit subscribe, hit share, and we want to know what the fuck you guys think. We got a lot to talk about. We're talking UFC 278 right now. You got WWE Raw and the return to Johnny Wrestling. And as we were talking about before we went on the air, yeah, Joey, we've heard that there is some shit going on in the Michigan wrestling scene.
Yeah, we shall get to that in a minute. Stick around for all the wrestling coverage, but as of right now,
have you seen the TikTok video of all the reactions? I've heard that this might have been Joe Rogan's most crazy reaction of all time. I mean, his eyes looked like they were going to pop out his head.
Everybody. I mean, that I don't know if this is the one he's talking about, but when they pan to the fighters in the VIP section right there, every single one of them just has a stunned look on their face. Yeah. And like Ali Abdelaziz, or the manager, he just buried his head. He couldn't even look.
Well, I mean, let's be honest. If that fight goes a minute and a half longer, Kumaru dominated that fight.
Yeah. It becomes the most, at least the record for the.
He would have tied Anderson Silva with that. That's what's so crazy. I'm getting text messages that I'm being watched. I mean, I know it tells me that there's 11 people. It tells me that there's 11 people watching, but I hear that I'm being watched.
Eyes on you.
It's kind of creepy, son of a bitch. But go ahead.
But Henry Cejudo, he's another person with the reaction, man. His jaw just immediately dropped. Like, you could see the ramifications on everybody's face. I was watching the Morning Combat show Monday, and they had Rashad Evans filling in for Luke Thomas. Rashad Evans was cage side. Another person in that video that you've seen his reaction when.
I love it.
Man,
Let's go, Wigs.
But
scare money don't make no money. I like it. You could see, the video when they panned out to the fighter was what I was talking about. Okay.
Yeah, you could see the ramifications. I feel like the Rashad Evans viewpoint was a really poignant one because of the fact that he's so close with Kumaru Usman. He basically is, trained him from one of the wrestling guys into help mold him into what he is now as a now former champion. And it even kind of feels weird just saying former champion Kumaru Usman. Really, in this moment.
Can we talk about like the possibilities though with this rematch? Number one, not that I think that there ever should have been any doubt that this was what was going to happen, but I'm glad that he's getting an immediate rematch because a lot of times they like to fuck around with these immediate rematches and don't like to give them all the time. Like, if anybody in life ever deserved an immediate rematch, especially with how the first four and a half rounds of that fight went, Usman deserves a rematch. Number two, if they run this in England like they're talking about, son of a bitch. Could you imagine the crowd if they managed to, let's just say they put together, him, Patty Pimblett, and Molly McCann, and they get them all on a card in England. That might be the biggest gate you might have ever seen in combat and MMA history.
And the absolute wildest crowd of all time.
Yeah, by the time they were talking about running it, because they're, yet again, watching his segment, he had noted he's probably not wanting to get back in there till about February, March. somewhere in that.
Well, UFC said
timetable.
they're booked up till at least January, so it's going to be a minimum of February, March.
The reason why I bring this up is you may be able to co-main Tommy Aspinall right back in there once he heals up from this knee surgery. So yet even another big pin to be knocked down out there in London.
Them English crowds are fucking rowdy too, dude.
No, let's bring Michael Bisping out of retirement. Fuck it. Let's go, man. Get on that card.
Hey, there was supposed to be Michael Bisping and Jake Paul. Let Michael Bisping kill him in a UFC cage. I'm with it. Let's go. Let's go.
Book it.
I do genuinely though love the London crowds. Really, any of the European crowds. Like even if you're watching like the Bellator events and stuff, because they're way more frequently over in the Europe area. And
in the Europe,
man, them. Well, because there's so many different countries. They go to Paris. They go. I don't want to list like they're in England all the time because they
list out.
Bellator especially. They
What's
go
the
all
list?
over the place throughout Europe, Ireland, UK. They go to Paris.
We don't got time. We don't got time.
No, but in all seriousness, I'm just bringing up the fact that the European crowds, man, they go wild over there. You're not lying. And them UFC events, being the cream of the crop events that they are, the crowds do tend to show that a little bit, man. They go wild. But like I was noting with the Bellator,
like March or something. Would you say we're shooting for like March, February, March? Okay.
Yeah. So
I say we go across the pond. Fuck it.
Oh my god.
It would be a hell of a time, that's for sure. But I'm very curious if they stick with that timetable, especially the fact that they had already kind of talked that maybe Wembley.
Yeah, what's the list, bitch?
What's the list? I gave off 3/4 of the list. But
he pulled out the list, like the list of Jericho.
He's about to be like LaGreca. Shout out to our guys from Busted Open. He's got his laminated list and shit.
He's got the big scroll. 1,004 countries.
This is all the places they go overseas, fucker. I got my verified list. But
tune in next Tuesday to hear the other half of it.
It's gonna be like the list of Jericho, bro.
Yeah, dude.
Okay, so I've seen a couple comments in the comments about this, and I completely agree. J-Bone, what say you? Because I don't know if Corey's gonna remember who this is. Patty Pimblett looks like a young Owen Hart. The resemblance is hell yes, he does. If Patty Pimblett gets in the cage and wins his next fight and gets on that bitch and says, enough is enough and it's time for a change and drops the mic, hot damn it, knockouts and 3 counts told you first. But dude, I'm telling you.
I'm with that. Yeah, absolutely, dude. Absolutely.
Dude, he does. He looks just like that motherfucker. But what's so funny is I was listening to him on McAfee's show, and he's talking about how he's up like over 200 pounds. And I'm like,
yeah, dude.
I'm like, geez, dude.
That dude's weight goes up and down fast.
And he literally said he was like, right now, he was like, once we get to like the bigger name fights and stuff like that, he's like, I'll lock it in. But he's like, right now, he's like, I like to eat. And he was like, you know what? He was like, I'm making weight. He's like, we ain't got nothing. There ain't nothing to say.
Yeah, I mean, what are you gonna do?
As a man that's willing to get in an argument with a man at Burger King at 1 o'clock in the morning to get my damn burger, I can respect.
Yeah, stick around so that you hear our Burger King story, because Corey was so dead set about his fucking chicken sandwich at 1 o'clock in the morning after Korn, when all of us are just like, shit, we got to go to work in the morning.
When the dude, when we'll talk about it later. You know what? We'll talk about it later.
But I respect the man's opinion on food. As a man that enjoys
the food, though.
He stood up to you at the window. Let's just get through all this other stuff first. You want to stick around?
You said you wanted this, and a quarter pounder.
Yeah, but
and it costs this much with tax.
You know what? Reel them in. You're gonna have to stick around for later on in the show for that.
Oh, these motherfuckers. As we were pulling up, I just want to finish on this part before we do brush this up. I said 3 times. That seems really cheap for the 3 of us. I said it like 3 or 4 times. I'm like, man, that just seems.
Well, I wasn't gonna tell him it wasn't cheap. What the fuck? Why would I do that for?
Well, once I realized I didn't get all my food, I on to the next.
Night. It was a long night.
What's next?
Corey's a fat bastard. Corey's a fat bastard is what we're getting at. The next thing that we need to talk about from UFC is what are your thoughts on Paulo Costa versus Luke Rockhold? Did you look at that now after you've had a couple days to sit on it? Do you look at that fight as, oh my God, it was a war? Or do you look at it and say, how the fuck were you not in better shape for that fight?
I don't think it is. All right. So with reflection being what it is, right. And being able to look back on
hindsight being 2020.
I think it really was all almost predicated almost exclusively on the altitude. Those guys really went at it in the first round. Like both of them exerted an extreme amount of, energy. And then both were gassed as it could be come the second round. And I think that was just simply due to the fact neither one could recover their oxygen levels once they got their 60-second break in that first round. I think both of them were expecting to recover more than they were able to, and that severely hindered them. And then during the fight, when you had the, brief moments of intermission because, the fouls that occurred and stuff, even then you would see like Rockhold milk that one low blow for what, like 2.5 minutes or something. The second he got back out there, he's immediately back, hands on his knees. I don't think these guys were able to recover to the level that they were wanting. So
okay, but
for that reason though, that's why I look at it like a war, because it showcased the fact that neither one of them were willing to give up on themselves, even though they were that exhausted. Like Rockhold noticeably was done. I mean, there was so many. How many times have we seen professional high-level fighters, former world champions, be so exhausted in the second round they're putting their hands on their knees? Like that.
True.
That stuff just doesn't happen. And for them both, I mean, Costa was rocked many times. I scored the third round for Rockhold. I thought Rockhold, if we're predicating it on damage, Rockhold landed some serious shots in that third round and almost put Costa down like 2 or 3, 4 different instances. So for both of these guys to not give up on themselves and to put on the performance they did, that's why I look at it as a war. It was sloppy. It was this, that, and the other, but the determination showed.
I enjoyed the fight, but I could also, all I'm saying is I could see where somebody would say that, because the only thing is, bro, they've been doing fights at altitude for enough time now that you could have gone out there like 2 weeks ahead of time to get used to the
and Leon Edwards did that, and he's
and that's my point though. And okay, and then and even his opponent Kumaru Usman wasn't dead in the 5th round.
Yeah, he trains in Colorado though, so
okay, well, he chose to do that, but I mean, still, Leon Edwards came over from fucking England weeks early to make sure that wasn't a problem, and look what happened.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, like,
pretty tired.
I enjoyed that, sure, but I enjoyed the fight. It was a hell of a fight, but at the same time, like, especially with Rockhold, when you're that tired of halfway into the fucking round, and then, I mean, like I said, it was an interesting thought. Shout out to our guy Jimmy Smith. If you guys are new here, yes, we are talking about the same Jimmy Smith, who's the voice of Monday Night Raw. If you haven't already done so, make sure you go hit subscribe and check that out while you're on the back burner after you're done watching us flap our gums about that. If anybody else has got some comments about the Luke Rockhold fight, I'd love to hear it. But I enjoyed the fight, but like I said, that was one thing that, like, because here's the other thing. How about we talk about the fact that Costa didn't look that great either, because for as tired as Rockhold was, where at one point he's literally got his hands on his knees and is fully bent over, and he basically gave him a like breather. Why didn't you kick his head off? Like, this is a fight. You and I get that, but Costa needed to make a statement just as much or more than Rockhold did.
Yeah, I agree with that.
And the fact that you couldn't finish a guy who's got his hands on his fucking knees and isn't even can't breathe and none of that after a half a round isn't a good look.
And the dude has a reputation of having a glass jaw. So
And he didn't, though. That's the other thing.
No,
Shout out to
he
Rockhold, though.
definitely didn't.
Rockhold
Yeah.
definitely didn't have a glass jaw in this one.
no.
No.
How about
And I
the
don't know.
savage mode he went into when he just wiped his bloody nose all over Costa's face at the end of the round?
It was funny,
that
but
that clip was dirty, like in a
Dude.
great MMA way. Like, don't get me wrong, but what I really liked is there was this one where Costa backs Rockhold up to the fence, and Rockhold feels his butt hit the fence. It literally just looks at him dead in the eyes and says "fuck you," and just swings a haymaker at him and lands hard as hell and almost fucking knocks Costa on his ass. I was like,
Dogs, man.
yeah,
Dogs.
that's the type of stuff where I had mentioned, you know, both of these guys not wanting to give up on themselves. That's what really stuck out to the most to me. Is, you know, Costa had his moments where he could have just accepted that he was hurt and the fight was, you know, not going in his favor.
100%, Mick. If you
Rockhold,
light up his body, dude, like hot damn,
Mhm.
like Costa could have killed him if he'd have ripped up his body. And Brock, they were fighting in the middle. That fight with Costa and Rockhold was at 85. So
Yeah.
you know, because it wasn't the greatest heavyweight fight, but again, heavyweights in the UFC, aside from Lesnar and Carwin, aren't conditioned like welterweights and middleweights.
Well,
But
unfortunately, yeah,
they were middleweights, and they
Yeah.
were conditioned worse than the heavyweights, apparently. But fucking
Like
ain't
I
either
said,
way.
I think
It was a hell of a
mostly,
fight, dude.
That was a good
Yeah,
fight.
it was very entertaining. The entertainment factor was very high either way, and I really boil a lot of it to the altitude that the fight took place at. Not necessarily giving them an excuse, but I feel like if they would have been going in there with an opponent that also didn't train at altitude, we would have seen the same type of performance from somebody else.
Well,
is what-
you know, and something that I just thought about that I didn't get to mention with the Usman thing that also makes this card so crazy. Like the combo of things that happen in that fight is crazy. So he's the first person to not only knock Usman out, he's the first person to take Usman down, and he's the first person to beat Usman in UFC history.
Wild.
That's a pretty big parlay right there, ain't it?
Fuck yeah, dude. Let me
Wow.
parlay
My
that.
parlay.
I won 300 bones on the other one,
Yeah,
but my parlays all went to shit this time.
Better than my parlays this weekend. Let's not talk about it.
That's MMA.
Mine didn't
in a
do good
nutshell
either
right
this
there.
week.
That's MMA in a nutshell, though.
Or
The
people just
UK
break their legs.
The
Hey,
UK,
like we always say, the most unpredictable sport in the world, and that's why we love it, man.
yeah. I mean, who would have
Well,
expected that the UK striker
do you-
would have been the one to get the first takedown on the
Right.
I mean,
Division II, granted, but national champion Division II wrestler. And
Well,
Kumaru
right.
Usman. Yeah.
I mean, hey, it's just another notch in the belt with to Leon Edwards. But with that being said, how much damage do you think this does to Kumaru's legacy overall, as far as him being like the greatest welterweight champ?
It depends. It depends on what he does next, what his next couple fights, and what his career trajectory.
I
looks like
agree,
from
because
here.
when you think, that's kind of what I thought too, and I say that because I look at it a lot like GSP. Like GSP got knocked out by Sarah and then went on and was dominant. Kumaru already was dominant. The only thing that's interesting with this one, though, is because Kamaru's a lot later in his career than when GSP took that loss to Sarah.
But
Yeah.
with how active
I think
Kumaru
Usman's going to come back and run straight through Edwards next one.
He very well could. He very well could. He showcased that he has the ability, but I feel like Leon Edwards is going to have an ace in his sleeve on this one, and that's the fact that, hey, when I was actually confident in my skills and actually like went to go showcase what I'm able to do, I was able to get the knockout, because I feel like that was his biggest issue throughout the whole fight, is he wasn't doing what he wasn't implementing his fight. He was fighting back from the second round after. He was fighting back. He was, trying his best to stay in the fight instead of being the leader of the dance. And I feel like if he's able to do that in the second fight a little bit more, we may see a different version of Kumaru Usman versus old Rocky Edwards. But that being said, I really like what Kumaru Usman's come out and said so far. He's had a couple videos and stuff already. I've seen a clip that he did with TMZ and stuff. And he's really not seeming to take this one to heart too bad. I know we're still fresh into it and stuff, but he's making some really good quotes out of it. He's like, this is my chance. This is my chance to show my daughter what it is to fall down and get back up and prove yourself as a person. This is this is my chance to really show that, hey, just because, everyone makes a mistake, but it's what you do after the, he's going out there with every inspirational, type of thing that you could take from a loss.
Yeah.
And that's the type of stuff you would love to see from a champion that did suffer this type of knockout, especially going into the fight in the 5th round, a minute left, winning the fight, was that close to getting the decision in your favor and to go that hand. But I do like the direction that he's at least taking.
He's in a good headspace.
Yeah.
I like everything.
Yeah.
I liked everything that he said. Like, he didn't make any excuses. He took it like a G. He took it like a champ. And like I said, his resume and what he's done have earned him the right to have another shot at that title shot. Mick, I agree with you. Maybe he needed to slip the other way. But, like I said, I don't know about y'all, but I'm ready to see this fight. So with that being said, the only other thing really to talk about when we're talking, we talked about, we got to talk about this too. So before we talk about the bare knuckle fight, Kayla Harrison killed another chick for PFL. So, I mean, what's the future for Kayla Harrison at this point? I mean, short of them bringing in Cyborg for her to fight, like, I mean, at what point otherwise she's just going to keep collecting $1 million every year until they get her some competition, which if I'm Kayla Harrison getting $1 million, I was going to say getting paid $1 million
to knock someone's head off.
And you're going to fuck them up. Like, I mean, Kayla Harrison, I'm not mad at you. You do you, boo. It's all good. But, you can send a nice sponsorship over to Knockouts and 3 Counts and come on the show,
I think the biggest issue with Kayla Harrison is her weight class. It really boils down to the fact that she's the only dominant
real 155er.
55er in the women's divisions in the world that I can be like, yeah, she's the one at 155.
Besides Cyborg.
She showcased in her Titan FC fight back in I believe 2 years ago during COVID when PFL was not running shows. That she can make 145. She did a test cut, fought at it, and looked really well. It didn't look like it affected her performance or anything. So I think
the Cyborg fight is the fight to make, though. If she's not going to the UFC, that's the fight to make.
That's definitely the one to make. But what I mean what I was getting to when I'm saying I'm curious is I'm very curious to see what PFL does with the signings, because they've done a really good job of, like, the Shane Burgos one of last week. That
was dope.
Huge. That's huge.
That's a huge, like somebody in their prime that showcased that they're a fan favorite and they go out there and put on real performances. Like, you can't ask for a better fighter to have on your roster than somebody like that. And I feel like PFL's done a great job of raking these people in. Like, hey, we'll pay you a little bit more each fight individually. You're guaranteed at least the 2 fights for sure. And if you make the playoffs, you have the chance at up to 5. Like, you have a real opportunity to make some serious money here. So they've done a really great job of raking in these free agent, signings and stuff. I'm very curious to see what happens if Cyborg straight up joins the PFL and becomes part of their season format. Like, something like that would be crazy. I know they're talking about running PFL super fights out of the season format where it would just be some of their top athletes and top free agents and stuff that they can get their hands on running a pay-per-view card and stuff like that. I'm kind of iffy on still if PFL has enough footings to be running pay-per-view and stuff like that. But
I don't know, man. I don't know about them as far as doing that. I mean, I don't know that I necessarily believe that Cyborg's really going to leave Bellator. I mean, she said over and over again that she really loves Scott Coker, and Scott Coker said that he's willing to let her, dip her hands into boxing and shit like that too. So I don't know that I see her leaving. I could definitely see a co-promotional fight, but I mean, really, that's the only fight to make for Kayla Harrison at this point.
Is it out of the realm of reality to do like a co-promotional type thing?
No,
Not
Scott
at all.
Coker.
They already were talking about it.
Yeah, look at what we just seen with BKFC this last weekend. I mean, MVP was over there for, on the blessings of Scott Coker and Bellator. So, that's
What did you guys think of his performance in BKFC?
I got to go back and watch it. I'll tell you straight up right now, I'm not an MVP fan, but he did better than I thought. I didn't think he was gonna make it with Mike Perry, dude, and he did. And I really didn't. I really didn't think he was gonna make it. Different type of fighting at BKFC, dude. It's a different beast. I didn't think it was gonna go like that, and honestly, I was very impressed. Great fight.
It was definitely a great fight, but I was actually surprised the other direction. I thought MVP was going to style.
I did
on him.
too.
I really did. I thought Perry was going to be, being that he's the shorter, stockier fighter. That's what MVP is great against, man. He keeps that range, and he's able to land at the end of his punches with that weird style that he uses. Like he's able to keep people on the end of his punches, and if you land one or two hard punches like that in bare knuckle, man, I thought Perry was, even though we've clearly seen Perry's the most clear example of dude's got that dog in him, but that being said, I thought MVP was just going to be too slick and be able to land some sweet fucking shots and put him out of there, honestly. But Perry did what Mike Perry
lumped up afterward, though. I'll tell you that.
Yeah,
Man.
Perry did what Perry did best.
Perry don't give a shit if he's out here getting paid like that right now.
No, really
personally, I still feel like MVP got fucked because I feel like if you go back, I believe it was the second round, if I'm not mistaken, but MVP landed a solid shot. Put Perry, in my eyes, got a knockdown because both hands touched. In boxing, that's a knockdown. This is boxing rules, except for slight modifications. Should have been a knockdown. If that was a circumstance, we wouldn't have seen the sixth round. Right. Yada, yada, blah, blah, blah. MVP would have been the winner. That being said, how the fight played out, he had his chance in that sixth round. He knew exactly what he was up against. I have to win this round.
Well, I mean, when it went to that sixth round, that's completely on who wants that fight. Like now,
that's what I mean.
Other 5 rounds don't mean shit. Yeah. Even if you thought you won, you have the same chance that guy does to win. And
that's where Perry was able to just outwork him, man. He really was able to just showcase that, hey, I'm still in your face. I'm still throwing shots. You want to back up? I'm going to circle you out. I'm going to keep you, I'm going to keep you in front of me, and I'm going to just keep throwing bombs, whether you're blocking them or I'm landing on arms or face. It don't matter. I'm throwing. And that's what won him that sixth round, man, in my opinion.
Hey, man, I mean, I think he won that sixth round, but I was like, man, this couldn't have been a better thing for BKFC because you had to think Dave Feldman and them had to be like, man, if MVP comes in here and fucks him up.
Well, they had only invested the one fight in Mike Perry up to this point. It's not like he was there. They're like,
I thought he signed a multi-fight deal though after the first one.
He did, but what I'm saying is it wasn't like that. You think BKFC, you might now because of the performance and stuff, but that wasn't like the first athlete that came to your mind when you think of BKFC. Like you got Paul Amino.
No, I'm not saying he was the poster boy, but I thought he got paid big after he beat Julian Lane.
He did, and he did. And you're absolutely right there. And in that way, they did invest in him. So.
Yeah, and they can't go pay him all this money and then have him get his ass whooped. I mean, let's be honest, Paige hasn't worked out that great for them either.
Yeah, I mean, I wish we would have ended up seeing that fight this last Saturday. That was supposed to take place as well on that London card. There still hasn't really been any official word on to why it got moved. I'm hearing the rumblings are October.
They wanted that to be a main event.
Yeah, that part I'm not sure about, but.
I've heard it a couple places that they moved it so that could be the main event.
Well, if that's the case, that's a little dodgy because you probably sold some tickets for it and then pulled it the week of the event. But I'm not going to throw too much shade at BKFC because I don't know if that's the circumstance or not. But either way, they really did. They put on a great card for this being their first trip over to London. I thought the Fishgold versus what was the other guy's name? The winner of the fight, tattooed up UK guy. I cannot think of his name at the moment though. But they put on a hell of a performance between the
Connor
two of them.
Tierney is the fucking man, dude.
Yeah, Tierney. I wish he would have.
Tierney is the fucking man. Tierney just is a sniper in that bare knuckle ring, bro.
Yeah, you ain't kidding. He definitely is a sniper. I just
Connor
wish he would've
Tierney,
had
if you hear this, we would love to have you on the show.
Yeah, you ain't kidding. So I guess I'll keep my comments about. I wish I would have had. He would have had a couple more bullets in that clip that he was shooting. 'Cause
He took care of business with made them bullets make sense.
He definitely took care of business, so I give him full credit there. It's just a little more shots would have been a little more entertaining, and I feel like the direction that the fight was going, he definitely had the opportunity. Yet again, cannot remember his opponent's name. I need to just pull up the card if we're talking about it. But he was chasing him around.
It's called prep.
Huh? Well, I do
said
prep,
it's called
but I
prep.
smoke too much and I forget.
Oh, here we go. It's almost 10 o'clock, guys. It's knockouts and 3 counts after dark.
Lindsay's not in the pool this time, unfortunately.
No, that.
Hey,
that
wait.
made
So
it all
before
more
we go forward,
pathetic.
though, I want to ask one guy. I don't mean to go back, but has the new UFC pound for pound rankings come out?
Yes, they have.
And where did Usman sit? What, like 3, 4, maybe?
They moved him down. I think it was 5, if I'm not mistaken.
Who's in front of him?
Volkanovski's 1.
That makes sense.
Who was 2? I think Izzy was 2.
Oliveira up there, probably.
Oliveira was 1 above him. I was surprised about that one a little bit too, because I feel like Oliveira's still got some more proving to do before he becomes, pound for pound number 4 or whatever he was. But
It's because of the win streak.
Yeah.
I mean, hard to argue, but I just
thought he wouldn't be up that high because of all the controversy and shit. Maybe 5, 6. But
yeah.
that's cool. Usman. So what is Usman? 3, 4? What did you say?
Yeah, I believe he moved down to 5, if I'm not mistaken. Either 5 or 6 even. Because they put Leon Edwards. I believe they put Leon Edwards above him. I mean, which would make sense, but yeah.
Big
All right. Well, there was plenty for us to talk about in the fight realm. Speak of things, there's also a lot of things for us to talk about in the pro wrestling state of things. And if you are a BKFC fan, make sure you go back and check out our chat with the champ, Christine Faria, who was just on with us a week ago, who's getting ready to fight Taylor Killaby Starling. I can't wait to see her entrance and see what comes on. Is it back then they didn't want me, now they all on me? Man, I'm not even mad at it if it is, because that shit was fire. But all I know is these two ladies are about to scrap, and I'm ready to see that shit. So with that being said, make sure you check out BKFC on the 27th. Now, before we talk about wrestling, I don't want to go too deep into the weeds, but man, Korn and Evanescence kicked ass like they kicked ass 15 years ago.
Yes,
and man, did I feel old as fuck when I realized it'd been 15 years since I was there to see them. But I digress.
15 years, huh? Man, you ain't kidding. We are getting old, huh? But that being said,
shit.
Yeah, I had seen Evanescence for the first time probably when I was like 14 or some shit at Warped Tour, and that was one of the bands that forever will stick out to me in my 10-year length Warped Tour years. I will miss those years fondly, but that being said, Evanescence was definitely one of those bands that stuck out ever since seeing them live, and then going to see them again, man. They lived up to every expectation, and that honestly exceeded expectations because of the fact I knew it had been. I didn't know it was 15 fucking years because, goddamn. But I knew it was about like 10-ish years or something.
10-ish? I wish it was 10-ish. Hell yeah, I'd have more beauty. I'd have some more good looks out here if it was only 10 years.
And like I say, man, she killed it on the piano. Amy's voice was still amazing. She was definitely able to hit a couple of those high notes and stuff throughout the set that she performed. And I personally,
she's still hot too, by the way.
Yeah, as somebody who's been to a ton of live shows, I love when singers are actually pouring their heart into it. You can hear their voice like
Crack.
not give, but like, yeah, it's like she's giving
Yeah.
it as much as she can and pushing it to the limit to where it does, force cracks and stuff like that. And
It was
they
dope,
did
dude. She killed it.
yeah, she did such a great job. Their whole set was great. I feel like with every
They should have
concert,
done Broken when she came back out, though.
I was shocked they
they
didn't.
should
Dude.
have.
I was shocked they didn't.
I was waiting. Any of you guys that are watching this, do we have any Korn fans or Evanescence fans? Let us know in the comments. And if you've ever seen them, any stories are always well welcomed. J-Bone, what did you think of Korn and Evanescence, bro?
Hey, man, I was tired the next day, but well worth it. I'll tell you what, speaking of this 10, 15 years, all this crazy old talk we're talking about, I know it's been probably some years since I've been in a mosh pit, and I can feel it. Trust me.
That's why I said, are you sure it's not the mosh pit while you're hurting?
Oh, it was a good time, though, dude. Korn, especially for what it was, a lot of people say, like, oh, these bands can't hang anymore. Dude, Korn rocked.
Bullshit.
Korn rocked.
Yeah,
dude, they kicked ass.
The mosh
They
pit was
kicked
wild,
ass.
dude. They rocked the house. That was dope. Badass show. Had a lot of fun.
Their drummer was fucking killing it, man. You can tell when one of the instrument artists is doing really well because the camera will keep panning over to him and stuff, and
Yeah.
you'll see like solo segments from the Megatrons and stuff. And they basically had a live footage of the drummer almost at all times because he was just drums, stick flip. He was fucking killing it out there, man.
And they even threw in a Metallica tribute that night, so that was pretty dope too.
Master of Puppets. But yeah, dude, it was badass. And
that's all I got.
Like we talked about that while we were there, dude. Like that show was really special for me. Anyone that knows my dad knows that my dad used to play Korn on fucking repeat in my garage, dude. Like I literally knew all the words because I've heard them so many times in my dad's truck or in the garage, or like this motherfucker had them all on CD and didn't care how many times you busted his balls about watching Korn. So Korn, if you ever see this, thank you for the show, dude. Definitely had me up in my feels. I'm starting to think Pine Knob is like a magical place for me out here. My dad crashes the truck on the way to Five Finger Death Punch, and then the world comes full circle, and then I get to interview Chris Cale on the show. And then I come back 15 years later, and then we see Korn. It was Pine Knob's pretty badass. I am looking forward to the next few months. Shinedown next month for my birthday is gonna be badass. If you guys are going to Shinedown and Jelly Roll, I don't know that we're gonna see a 10-year-old get crowd surfed all the way to the top of the hill. But that's going to be a badass concert. And then Mega Ran is coming to town. And then I'll be at Pine Knob again. We will be at Pine Knob again for Five Finger Death Punch and fucking Megadeth. This year is going to be badass. Shout out to Chris and Ivan and Zoltan and the boys from Five Finger Death Punch. Their new album is badass, dude.
After getting me back in, while you're on that point, Kyle, you had played it while we were on the ride out to J-Bones for the roughly hour and a half cruise or whatever, hour, 10 minutes or whatever.
Out to the sticks.
Yeah. They definitely killed it on that album. I had noted on here that
Judgment Day is badass.
Yeah, I like Five Finger Death Punch, but I usually end up appreciating their stuff for their cover music and stuff. I don't usually I haven't done very many deep dives on them, per se. I do on a lot of other artists, but they were just one that had never made it up there. Doing this full album throughout a ride and not feeling as though I needed to skip a single song, I feel like that's the biggest compliment I can give to an album. As somebody who's been, a fan of music my whole life, if I can make it through a whole album without feeling as though I need to skip, you guys did good. But while we're on the concert thing, Kyle, you cannot not bring up the I Prevail show. I feel like that's the one I'm probably most excited for.
You got to get a ticket still.
I'm very much aware of that, but
I've already got pit tickets. I was just talking about Pine Knob, but if we're going down the whole damn gamut, hell yeah, I Prevail is going to be the shit. Dude, I've been wanting to see them for some years. I Prevail is going to be badass. I will be in the building at the Fillmore. Hot damn it, if you see me, feel free to buy me a beer or tell me to let's do a shot or something. I'm with that. It's gonna be a damn good time. I am looking forward to I Prevail for sure. But speaking of things that I'm looking forward to, we've given you the Knockouts and 3 Counts concert roll down at this point. But with that being said, this Friday, ring the motherfucking bell.
Friday.
We're in the building. Friday Night SmackDown is in Detroit, and we will be in Little Caesars Arena and going to get to see firsthand what they're doing with this new Triple H regime. Any of you guys that are watching, please feel free to chime in the comments. I'd love to know what you guys think of what we've been seeing from old Triple H ever since he's become in power. We got some things to talk about for Monday Night Raw that went down. But again, while we're on the wrestling end of things and talking about going to shows and, buying tickets and all these things, make sure you get your tickets for Circle 6 Catalyst and make sure that you hit that subscribe button so that you get your chance at winning some free tickets to the show here in Detroit. I'm just saying, everybody likes free stuff. Free is my favorite 4-letter word. So I'm just saying, if you want to get some free tickets, y'all need to check it out. J-Bone, where should we start in the world of pro wrestling?
Well, Monday Night Raw just happened. And honestly, in pro wrestling, the best thing that you could ask for is a surprise, if you ask me. There was no reports on Johnny Gargano's return. And when his music hit, dude, that place went wild. That was the best kept secret in wrestling right now. Somehow they pulled that off. I don't know the terms. I don't know how it went down, the deal. But Johnny Wrestling's back on Monday Night Raw. And that is good for business right there, because that dude is going to bring a lot of fire to WWE. So that, I think, needs to be the top story right there, if you ask me.
I completely agree. Obviously, anybody that's been following the show knows that we fuck with Johnny Wrestling over here. But with that being said, that brings a couple questions. Like, some of the crowd, like we've talked about before, still kind of almost seemed when it, like, what we've talked about before, in that some of the NXT guys, although you and I and the hardcore wrestling fans are all a big fan, it seemed like some of them didn't know as much. Because like when Theory came down with the Money in the Bank, anybody that knows what he was doing in NXT, he was part of the Way, and Theory, to his credit, threw in some of the stuff with the Way stuff. And as you saw, a lot of the fans didn't know.
Yeah.
But I mean, hell, Austin Theory and Johnny Gargano kind of picking up where they left off from NXT wouldn't be a bad place to start.
True. There's a lot they could do, man. That's the beauty of it. The door's wide open. The possibilities are endless. And with Triple H at the helm, dude, you just never know. See what I did there? Helm, Lee, like that. Yeah, I've been planning that for like a week. So.
Look,
don't tell nobody. Don't tell them. I don't got the zingers.
What was the price? I mean, look here, bro. I could give you a few hints to finding some of those zingers.
Would you write me something? Would you please? I need like a
most of that shit just kind of comes off the top of the dome.
You need a ghost rider over there, Jordan.
I need something. Throw me a freaking bone over here. Get that.
Yeah, go throw him a bone and check out the J-Bone show. See what I did there? How
boy, I'm talking.
Yeah,
about.
Boy. But yeah, dude, like I said, I was a big fan of seeing Johnny Gargano come back. I've liked seeing the names that they brought back from NXT. I think that it's going to take a little bit of time to get them reintegrated, but could you imagine if they pick up Gargano versus Ciampa again on the main roster?
That's what I want to see, man. That was such a highlight rivalry in NXT. Like, you bring that to the main roster, it's going to do nothing but good things. Like, it's got to at least be talked about. You would think eventually it's going to happen. It's got to happen.
Bro, and first of all, I don't know if she's watching right now. Shout out to Sophia, who I don't know if she's watching right now. But, dude, she was in Toronto for Raw last night and was talking about how the crowd went nuts for it. And, that's not even all of it. We got the return of Trish Stratus last night. We got some Stratus faction and shit. I mean, Raw has been pretty good since the whole Triple H kind of takeover deal, man. I mean, what were your thoughts on Trish coming back, and what do you think we're gonna see?
Hey, it's good too. I mean, look, she's still in shape, man, and arguably the greatest. What do you want to call her, diva in WWE? I guess that's what they were calling her back then. But she's always been a great wrestler. The probably the best women's champion of all time. And now you put her in there with this new breed of you got Bayley, her crew. It's going to do nothing but good things for these women, dude. So I think it's great to have her back.
Yeah, man, I think it's great. I mean, her star power can never be anything but a help to some of the names that were there, and like seeing her interact with somebody like Aaliyah, who is a fellow Canadian, and stuff like that was great as well. Obviously, the other thing that we got to talk about for Monday Night Raw, is the first time that Edge has been in the ring on Monday Night Raw in 10 years, and no less, it was in Toronto in his hometown. What were your thoughts on what we saw with the return of the Rated R Superstar, and having Beth in the front row and getting involved when Rhea came to come try to jump on her man?
Hey man, that's also good stuff. Like I said, I'm curious to see what's going to happen. Did you catch the off-air stuff with him?
I did. I was going to get to that in a minute, but
I'm curious to see what's going on with that. But I'm curious to see what's going to happen with. There's got to be an end here, right? With Judgment Day and something. We're building to something. I'm not sure what it's going to be, but I want to see. Man, I'm such a fan of like heel Edge. You know what I mean? It's just hard to dislike the guy right now. But
But he's not a heel right now, so we can love him, and it's all good.
It's hard for me. Like I want Concerto, dark, long hair, vampire chair swing.
I was liking the Judgment Day Edge.
Yeah. Maybe they can like do one of those like Ministry of Darkness type gigs and just like poison him or something to where he's bad again. Do you remember when who was it? Viscera, Big Daddy V? He like got kidnapped.
Rest in peace, big man.
He got kidnapped by the Ministry of Darkness, dude, and like came back as this evil, like crazy dude. So let's do that to Edge to get him back in Judgment Day.
Hey man, the Ministry of Darkness wasn't no ho. They kidnapped Stephanie. They tied Steve Austin to a cross on live TV. Hot damn, Sophia is checking us out from across the water and the pond and all that shit over there in Canada.
The river.
Sophia, I need to know. Yeah, in Canada. So
the Ambassador Bridge.
the river and the river and the water and the bridge and Border Patrol and all those patrols. We're talking about Monday Night Raw. What were your thoughts on Raw? We were talking about the return of Trish, but we're going to get into the other big part, and that was what we saw with Edge. We saw, Beth Phoenix get involved. What up, though, Sophia? What were your thoughts on Edge's match, and are you excited to see the Glamazon back in the ring? I mean, can I just say that a face-off between her and Rhea Ripley is going to be badass?
Yeah.
Because those are two badass chicks and two fucking powerhouses of females.
Yeah, that's going to be exciting. I'm with that.
I'm with that for sure, dude. And can I just say, even though I think they picked generic song number 5, I'm glad that they changed the theme song for the Judgment Day. It wasn't they took the Alter Bridge song away.
Only your WWE 2K players are gonna know what that's about, dude.
See, that's where we bring you the real insight in this bitch. Stay tuned. We're gonna have our Twitch going soon, and you can watch me get mad at the video game as I try to trek my way through WWE and these AEW games.
You watch me just get my butt kicked constantly on this. I don't know.
Do you guys want to see me and J-Bone go head to head on the Twitch stream? If we get Twitch going, do you want to see us just like face off?
It would be a great idea. It would be a great idea. I know I'd be tuning in for it.
I'm coming for dubs, bitch.
It being
Let's see
said,
how long it takes me to bust my controller.
Y'all can't touch this on UFC 4. I got this all day.
Dude. I love that game.
I can beat you.
Sounds like a challenge to me. Let's go.
Yeah, it sounds like a challenge. But
everybody don't make no money.
Were you guys able to see what AEW put out though with the clip and stuff that they released of their game? I want to get your guys' thoughts on that.
That game reminds me of like the old school No Mercy game. Like
it's supposed to. That Kenny's got a big hand in that, and he said that was the game that he patterned a lot of it off of.
A very polished N64 game. I dig
it.
Yeah.
I've still got to look into it more. To be honest, I haven't gotten to see much of the gameplay. What do you think, Corey? I mean, you said you saw it. What do you think of?
So I didn't. they did the DMD. Basically had like a little. I don't know who the other guy was that was affiliated, but it wasn't a wrestler. It was some commentator or something. But they had both were sitting down and basically did like a fake playoff, and they didn't show the actual game footage and stuff. They just showed like a couple clips of like the moves and the stuff being done and stuff. To J Bone's point, I feel like it was very polished N64 in. He may be saying that in a good way. I am not. I feel as though with the modern capabilities that we have with these new systems and stuff, man, you don't have to go full simulation where the characters look legitimate. I'm completely okay with cartoonizing the characters a little bit and making them more, I don't know, kid friendly or just less realistic or whatever you want to call it. But the lack of detail bothered me a little bit. The fact that the animations, that as somebody who's entirely too many times in video games, I will just stop playing a game if it has terrible animations when you're trying to reload your gun and it just looks janky as shit. I'll just give up on a game. I don't even care if the rest of it's okay. And I feel like that's where I was seeing a little bit of that. And I'm hoping it's because it's just the alpha. It's not, they didn't show gameplay for a reason, right? Like they didn't have like the health bars in the corners and stuff like that, like showing an actual match footage or anything like that. So I'm hoping once more of it comes out, we get a little bit better, more polished, maybe instead of.
Do we know what the release date is on that yet?
I haven't seen one yet.
No, I don't know.
I keep hearing that they're saying to pre-order it, so I mean it's got to be soon.
It's got to be soon then. But I'm hoping instead of polished N64, maybe we get like end of GameCube era, like somewhere in there. Yeah. No, it's just they could
Dreamcast. We got the Dreamcast.
I feel like they.
Gosh, how old are we again? Why are we
Yeah.
exposing our age all day?
Yeah.
Jeez.
That's how she goes, eh?
How's she going, eh? But yeah, dude, I'm looking forward to seeing what's happening. Shout out to our guy Megaran. I know he's gonna have some cool shit coming out of that video game too, so stay tuned for that as well. All right, man. We've talked about Monday Night Raw. We talked a little bit about that, but who do you think kidnapped the Miz? Sophia, who kidnapped the Miz? Who do you think kidnapped the Miz?
Wait, didn't we know? I thought we knew. Wasn't it Dexter Lumis?
No, Dexter Lumis showed that he was out there, but the guy that dragged the Miz away had a police helmet on, remember?
Oh, I thought he took it off. It was Dexter Lumis.
No, one of them took it off. The other guy didn't, if I'm not mistaken. Sophia, you were there. Tell me, am I wrong? Was it Dexter Lumis that kidnapped Dexter Lumis that kidnapped the Miz? I need to know.
No, dog. Logan Paul, bro. Logan Paul. Bro. They wanted another match with him.
They wanted it to be impulsive.
That damn Logan Paul.
Hey, bro, like I said, scared money don't make no money. That guy's making money. And if you're making money, you got to make sure you check out our sponsors at G3 Payroll and Tax. Make sure you tell them the Knockouts and 3 Counts sent you. Jack will get you together come tax time. All right, so it was Dexter Lumis that took the Miz. I'm glad they brought Dexter Lumis back. I'm a big fan of that. I'm a big fan of them bringing back Johnny Wrestling. So what do you think? Do you think this is going to be like a big Dexter Lumis faction? Is that what we're going to see here?
I don't know. I was wanting to, I don't think he needs it. I think he just keep, look, he's not even been in the ring yet since he's been back. And he's making the headlines. He's entertaining, man. Like,
she said there was a decoy. Dexter Lumis is showing how smart he was. The boys got the decoy, and he made the snatch.
There you go. So there's just like he's one of those guys who was entertaining in NXT, and he got kind of cut off at the knees,
for no fucking reason.
For no reason. So anything he's doing right now that's entertaining by any means, I think he's right where he needs to be.
And he got busy too because he was on Ric Flair's last match too.
Yeah, I mean, and he hasn't been in the ring since he's been back. You know what I mean? And he's entertaining us, just messing with the Miz, kidnapping people, being creepy as hell, as Dexter Lumis can be.
Throwing him in a van and shit.
It's entertaining as hell, so keep it coming, dude. Keep it coming.
I'm with it, dude. Like I said, I'm interested to see how it plays out. But all right, before we get out of here tonight, we've got a hell of a match that's coming tomorrow. Oh shit. Andy was on NXT tonight? Oh shit. So Loomis he's coming back for his boo. That's what it is. I was about to say, I saw on NXT, Indy Hartwell got her a love note from old Dexter Loomis. Hot damn. He's coming back to get his lady. That's what he's doing. He's coming back to get his lady back. But yeah, man, I'm looking forward to what we see with that. Oh, the cops got him. Damn it, the boys. Damn it, the boys. She said Index reunited briefly, and the boys had to fuck it up. I'm really hurt about that. Like, damn it, why can't you just let a good thing happen? But you know what's a good thing that's going to happen a little early? Ring the bell. We're going to be there for All Out and shit. But we're getting Punk versus Moxley on live TV tomorrow for the world title.
At least that's what they say. Are we?
I mean, everything I've seen says that, so...
Card subject always to change, right? I can't see.
Sure, I'm not saying it can't change, but I'm just saying if you put that on TV, motherfuckers are trying to get numbers. That'll get numbers.
So there's something there. There's something behind that, though. Because why would we? I mean, Kyle, why would we put it there?
I mean, with all this shit with Hangman Page, do you think that there's any substance to it?
Yeah.
Sophia, what say you? Do you think there's any substance to this whole thing with Punk, not being so liked around the locker room and him and Hangman Page having some issues and it may be kind of boiling over? I mean, dude, it's not the first time we've heard about this kind of thing with CM Punk. I mean, I'm a big fan and I don't know anything about it, but it's interesting.
That's what I was just about to ask, is I had heard the rumblings, but I didn't hear like the words that were said and stuff like that. Do you guys know?
Nobody has, because nobody knows what was said.
Yeah, we don't know yet.
Nobody knows
that they're putting the main event for you got the interim championship and the world championship ahead of the
title unification.
I mean, where else would it be? Something's got to happen. Like she said, there could be a
DQ. I mean, like she said, get a rematch. But I mean, what about if we get a triple threat at All Out? Because you also called out Hangman Page. Hangman Page can't not come out to come fight him tomorrow.
Right.
What if Hangman Page causes the DQ and that's how you get, the triple threat? Because,
right.
Punk talked all that shit.
I hope something like that happens, but I hope it's MJF. That's just me fantasy book.
I wouldn't be mad at seeing MJF back, but how about you fantasy book yourself a ticket and we'll be in Chicago?
I'll fantasy book that one, all right?
Yeah, that's all fantasy right there.
That's a fantasy booking right there.
Scared money don't make no money, boys. That's all I'm saying. But with that being said, I don't think they should have had Hangman Page say what he said a few months back. What did he say a few months ago, Sophia, that was out the way? I feel like Punk's the one been taking shot. And the thing is, like, he said what he said when Punk was face to face with him. Hangman wasn't even in the ring to defend himself.
Right.
So I don't know, man. It's interesting. If nothing else, Punk versus Moxley has my interest peaked, and I want to see what the fuck's going to happen. Who wins, Punk or Moxley, or are we getting bullshit?
I think we're getting bullshit, dude. We gotta be. We're getting bullshit. There's no way that those. Who else is gonna be in your main event at All Out? Who would it be? Do you want? What would you?
Whoever
Let me put it this way. You only got one choice, or two choices. Would it be? Would you rather see Punk versus Hangman again, or would you rather see Punk versus Moxley?
I mean, at this point, I think I might like to see a triple threat better, but
no, you can't.
I wouldn't have minded.
You got to choose one or the other.
What do you mean I can't choose that? He called him out in the middle of his promo to fight Mox.
So we're not going to get. They're not going to switch it on us. It's an interim title, so there's no way that they're going to put.
What do you mean? There's no switch. You're unifying the titles, even if the interim champ wins. You're not switching nothing.
Caliber match. There's no.
I agree with that, but it's also going to get ratings. Ask Eric Bischoff. He said himself he fucked up how many times by trying to put stuff on TV that should have been on pay-per-view. That's why I said I think you're going to have a triple threat.
Well, I hope it's MJF instead of Hangman. Fuck it. Book it.
Bucket. I like it. Yeah.
Fuck it. But you know what you need to do? Sophia, you're in Canada. You're not super far. If y'all are in the way, you guys got to make sure you come out and check out Circle 6 Catalyst. Like I said, on the last show, we had Josh Alexander was on that card. The Rascals were on that card. Past guest of the show, Zicky Dice, was on that show. Shellac and Masada and Midwest Scum is going to be a damn good show. They got the hybrid ladder match for the main event. We will be in the building September 9th on Fight TV at the Jam Handy. Like I said, if you're new here or you watch this in post, make sure you hit subscribe so you can be in the running for those tickets. And yeah, man, all I can say at this point is peace, love, and chicken grease. Until next week, make sure you hit that motherfucking subscribe button.
And don't go to Burger King at 1 a.m.
Yeah, otherwise Corey will fucking cuss you out for his chicken sandwich. Peace.
Hey, get the order.